So I read somewhere that middle class is here in America at least for 2021. The average income, or rather the median income, which is a little bit more accurate than the average income, was like $70,784, and this at least according to the United States Census Bureau. But are you really middle class? It's kind of dark in here, right? You can barely see me. So the question is, are you middle class, right? So I would say, you're middle class if you meet a few different criteria. And of course, it may, vary across the board depending upon your own personal opinion. But for me, I think you're middle class when you can do certain things. When you can do certain things like, kind of budget in a way where you're pretty confident in your income, and you can set up like automatic budgeting, right, or automatic bill pay, stuff like that. So if you got Bank of America, maybe JP Morgan Chase or something like that, I would say you're probably middle class if you are able to confidently pretty much just kind of set all your bills on auto pay and not worry about whether or not there's enough money in the checking account in order to make the bills, or enough money in the checking account so you don't have to worry about bouncing checks or having overdraft fees. So I would definitely put that as one criteria that will probably put you in the middle class category. Another thing that I would probably say put you in middle class is if you're not really worried too much about the price of gas. If you go to fill up your car, you need gas, right? You go to fill up your car, you roll up in the gas station, and you're just looking for an available pump. You're not driving out of the way to find the cheapest gas. It's like, look, I need gas. This is convenient. I'm going to fill up my car. I'm not worried about what it's going to cost me. I'm just going to fill it up. It is what it is. You drive off, and you probably don't even know what the price of gas is. So if you don't really even know what the price of gas is, chances are you're probably middle class. Another thing would be, you can take vacations with your family pretty regularly, pretty often. Maybe you don't stay in a Ritz-Carlton, but you can pretty much stay for the most part wherever you want to stay. And if you choose to stay in a nicer place, you could, or if you choose not to, maybe you chose not to because you'd rather spend the money elsewhere, but not really because you didn't have the money to be able to do so. So if you're able to take at least 2 trips a year, I would say you're middle class. Now, if you have a huge family, like maybe your husband and wife, and you got 3 kids, that would definitely be a lot more expensive to take trips compared to, if you had, babe, you gonna have some of the cheesecake? Yeah. Oh, okay. If you got 3 kids versus just 1 kid, chances are, it's a lot more expensive because there's more mouths to feed and more airline tickets. Maybe you need a bigger hotel or an Airbnb, compared to a family of 3 total, husband, wife, and 1 child. But definitely the bigger the family, the harder it would be, or the more expensive it would be to, travel and go on vacations and stuff like that. Another thing would be you go to restaurants because you felt like it. Like I would say you're middle class if you can, go to a restaurant whenever you feel like it. And, I know it may seem like a luxury for some or no big deal for others, but I think that also kind of falls into the category, of middle class. If you're able to just pretty much, hey, I just felt like going out to eat. You're not worried about, going out to eat doesn't necessarily affect your budget so much. Like you don't even really budget for going out to eat. You just say, hey, I feel like going out to eat today, so I'm gonna go out to eat. You're not worried about, if there's enough money in the checking account or the savings account, or if your credit card balance is about to be maxed out. You just say, hey, I'm hungry. Prime example of that, we won a Cheesecake Factory today. Well, honestly, my wife won a Cheesecake Factory today. I didn't really care. But she wanted to go, and so I was like, hey, you want to go? We're going to go. So we went to get Cheesecake Factory, And she has been asking me, for the longest if I'm ready to eat this cheesecake. And me personally, I'm like, I'm stuffed. So if you look at this here, you guys tell me if you've ever had the Reese's. Let me go ahead and switch this down a little bit. All right, here we go. So I don't know if you guys can see this very well, but this is the Reese's Pieces cheesecake. And I've had several different slices. I've had the, what do you call it? The red velvet. I'm going to open it up for you guys so you can get a better look at it. Now, if I drop this thing, my wife is going to kill me. So let me be extra careful because I don't want to get destroyed on camera. All right. So anyway, of course, we had to get the whipped cream to make it a little bit better. But I've had multiple different cheesecakes over at Cheesecake Factory. This is the Reese's peanut butter something cheesecake. And we've had the celebration, which is kind of like a white, it's like the primary color is white, but it's got like all of these very colorful sprinkles on it. We had the red velvet cheesecake, and basically, to me, this is the greatest value and one of the better tasting ones for me, even though I'm not that much into chocolate. But being able to go to a restaurant pretty much whenever you feel like it, whether it's in the budget, you know, like I was gonna say whether it's in the budget or not, but you don't really have to budget for it. You just feel like going, you're not worried about it. Now, one thing I will say is this: we haven't been to a Cheesecake Factory in months. And the reason being is because the service had gone down so much in our particular area. And it's interesting because I was actually looking at the Cheesecake Factory on the stock market just the other day, and I was seeing how the stock for Cheesecake Factory was, if I'm not mistaken, it was like hitting all-time highs, or the stock was performing very well at a minimum. And it got me thinking, it's like, wow. So apparently, Cheesecake Factory is actually doing pretty well. Maybe it's just my local location. So anyway, after thinking about this, you know, when I got invited today to go to the Cheesecake Factory from my wife, I was thinking to myself, man, hopefully things have improved over the time. Oh, you know, since the last time we were there, because like I said, it was several months. So we walk in there, there's several new faces, and it was, for some reason, it just felt more welcoming today. And so that was a very good feeling, especially since, you know, it's like 20 degrees outside right now. So we walk in there, you know, there's a little bit of a wait. So we're just chatting it up for the next 25, maybe 30 minutes. And then we get seated. We sit down. Number one, the hostess who sat us, you know, pleasant, very professional. Our waitress, she was very good. Like, she was probably the best waitress we had in there in a very long time. But one thing I will say, after we've ordered our food, which came out in a timely manner, and, you know, the service was great. But here's the thing that really shocked me. The thing that really shocked me is when we got our bill. Now, we never spend more than, I don't know, $65 in Cheesecake Factory with the tip, typically. Today was a different story. Today we somehow managed to spend $101. Now, this is well over what we would normally spend. Now, I don't know if it was inflation. Did we order slightly different foods? But if I think about it, we kind of did. So normally, you know, we kind of order some burgers, maybe some avocado chicken clubs or something like that. My son normally orders like a either spaghetti or, well, if you don't order spaghetti, what else do you order? Nothing. That's pretty much it. So today he decided to venture out, and he ended up getting fettuccine. Now, little did I know he was going to bust me in the head with his fettuccine bill. His spaghetti is normally about $13. Fettuccine was like $27. So I was like, yo, what's going on? Then on top of that, we ordered a cheesecake, which we normally would not order. And then he added some French fries to the bill. So there were a few different things that added to the bill that normally wouldn't have gone on there. But what really got me was the simple fact that we had hit $101. And for me, that's a lot of money to go out to eat at that type of establishment compared to what we normally spend. So, you know, it's just it's a sign of the times. This is inflation at its best. We also noticed that the burgers we normally would order 2 years ago were $13 and maybe 50 cents for these burgers. Today they were $19 and change. So inflation is real, and we're seeing it all over the place. But I would say you're middle class if you get you go to these restaurants and things are a little bit more expensive, but it's like, did you have a good time? Did you enjoy your food? Great, and you just kind of went about your day. So I would say that these are some of the reasons, these are some of the requirements to kind of like look at your own personal finance life to see, are you middle class or not? Drop me some thoughts down below. Let me know what you guys think are criteria or different things that you can look at that would let you know if someone's middle class or not. Let me know how many of these boxes you guys have checked personally. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely hit the like button. Check out my previous videos, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.